I know it's a Friday. We're all expecting good vibes only going into the weekend, but unfortunately, Who Dat Nation, we just got some terrible news, and I'm going to tell you what that is here in a second. But friendly reminder to subscribe to Saints Now right this second. We need 53 new subscribers to get to 30K, so help me out. Let's get to the next big milestone, and if you subscribe, you get daily videos, live shows throughout the week, and a whole lot more. So the bad news that we got, Saints fans, it's around Kene Nwangwu, who failed his physical, unfortunately. He's the only player that the New Orleans Saints made a waiver claim for, that at least the Saints were awarded. Kene Nwangwu failed his physical. And in terms of what the injury was, I'm not entirely sure, and I'm not entirely sure why he failed his physical, but last season in 2023, he actually was placed on IR with a back injury, and he was limited throughout the season for the Minnesota Vikings. And he's a player with over 1,800 return yards throughout his career. He is not a ton of production as a running back, but as a return specialist, he also leads the NFL in kick return touchdowns since joining the league in 2021 with 3 kick returns for 6 points. I mean, that is incredible stuff. And I was sitting there, we were talking with producer Patrick Seatman, my guy, one of my homies. He's a huge Vikings fan and covers the Vikings here at Chat Sports. And we were just going back and forth saying, Rashid Shaheed, Kene Nwangwu, oh my God, that would have been insane. It would have been very tough to defend. And with the new kickoff rule, I really think with both players, it could have been very, very electric. Now, I want to really quickly just go through the new kickoff rule with you guys. You see the landing zone, you see the setup zone, and you see the new kickoff start line. So just in case you guys aren't familiar with the new kickoff rule, if it goes out of the end zone, the ball will be set at the 35. Now, if it doesn't reach the landing zone, the ball will be placed at the 40. Now, if the ball hits the landing zone and rolls into the end zone, the ball will be placed at the 20-yard line. And if the ball, when kicked, gets received in the landing zone, it must be returned. And I do believe with Darren Rizzi, the special teams coordinator in New Orleans, he's going to get very, very creative with his usage in the new kickoff rule. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that here in a few seconds. But I got to tell and say thank you to Factor for sponsoring today's video. And I got to tell you about how great they are of a sponsor. I absolutely love Factor Meals. And on top of that, they're a company that not only prides itself in having great quality food, but they're here to help you out. And with Factor, it saves me so much time because with the football season, I know you and me, we're all sitting around watching the games, pigging out on our nachos, our chicken wings, all that fun stuff. But during the week, it's important to get yourself some nutrition, get yourself some energy, and get yourself some clean food. So Factor Meals has helped you to do that. And if you want to meet your wellness goals this fall, you should check out Factor Meals. They have delicious menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and keto-friendly diets. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. So head over to factormeals.com/SaintsChat50 and use code SaintsChat50 to get 50% off your first box. Plus, you'll get 20% off your next month. That's code SaintsChat50 at factormeals.com/SaintsChat50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. If you missed all that, if you tried to fast forward, hey, don't be that guy, but use the link in the comment section and description of the video. So I want to return to this quote that Darren Rizzi had leading into the NFL draft. And this is kind of when the kickoff rule started to get real traction and, become a reality for the NFL, not just the UFL. He was excited about the new rule. He was one of the guys who got the rule put into place. And this is what he said. I'm sure there's going to be some teams in the beginning of the year that try to play keep away from Rashid Shaheed. The opportunity for the second guy could be a huge one. Now, I want to discuss why I think Darren Rizzi will get creative. We just talked about it. He knows that the second kick returner in that position is extremely valuable next to Rashid Shaheed. And I thought that Nick Underhill's tweet from back in January was really, really telling. The Saints special teams ranked second last year according to a really well-respected man in Rick Gosselin, and he has a lot of really good stuff around Special teams and his opinions are very well respected. Nick Underhill pointing that out right there. And let's just throw this quote up around what this special teams unit for the New Orleans Saints did last year. Look at that. They finished top 5, this was the 5th top 5 finish for Darren Rizzi and the New Orleans Saints in the last 6 seasons. They were top 10 in 13 categories, and they were leading or sharing the lead in 5 of those. And then on top of that, New Orleans allowed 5.6 yards in punt coverage to lead the league last year. That is really good stuff. I know there was, dislike and I'm not going to say hard feelings, but, underwhelming. Let me rephrase. I know that Lou Hedley was underwhelming at times last year, and the punts, they weren't very far. He wasn't flipping the field, but that part of it was really valuable because they were hard to return. Now, Matt Hayball, he is an Australian-style punter as well. He went to Vanderbilt for college. He was an undrafted free agent for the New Orleans Saints. I think that he is going to be good with the punt, but I don't want to talk about punting. I don't want to talk about kicking. I want to talk about the returning because with Kene Nwangwu not making the team because of his failed physical, now you can look to the roster and see who are some possible kick returners. Rashid Shaheed, Mason Tipton, Taysom Hill, Alontae Taylor, and Alvin Kamara. Do not be surprised if you see any of these guys alongside Rashid Shaheed. I also really like the idea of throwing Taysom Hill or Alvin Kamara into the mix. And Darren Rizzi, he spoke with media at times. He's been on podcasts and he multiple different occasions being on the record saying, don't be surprised if you see guys like Alvin Kamara and Tyreek Hill in the kick return units for these NFL teams. And I really do think that the New Orleans Saints should look to Mason Tipton. I mean, the 4.3 40-yard dash is absolutely electric. And when you have the 4.33 40-yard dash and then Rashid Shaheed's 4.3 40-yard dash, I mean, that is speed out the ass right there, ladies and gentlemen. I think with Mason Tipton, he's a valuable player. There's a reason that the Saints kept him around. He didn't even play in the preseason, but the Saints loved what he did throughout training camp and throughout OTAs, and he earned a spot on the roster. And I do believe a big part of his role will be the kick return. But I also think if you don't want to go one of those guys, why not go hit up Samson Nacua? Remember that 106-yard almost kick 6 against the Titans in preseason week 3? If you absolutely need somebody and you are dead set on saying, you know what, we want to save Rashid Shaheed for more return or for more receiving ability, and we want to give Mason Tipton the opportunity alongside another player, or you want to just get creative and have different styles of packages for your kick return unit. Samson Nacua, he proved that he is good with special teams. He has the field vision. He has the speed and the athleticism to be effective. So maybe Samson Nacua could return to the New Orleans Saints. I don't know if it will happen, but I don't think it's a bad idea to at least have him on the call or have him on call in case something happens. Now, I want you to tell me, Saints fans, who do you think should be the kick returner next to Rashid Shaheed? I like the idea of going Mason Tipton. I think he's a fast, athletic, and exciting player, and I think it's going to be really fun to have that speed right there next to each other. But Taysom Hill, come on, that would be absolutely electric to see him return some kicks. Now, I want you to hit me up on social media if you want to get more coverage in between these videos. I am on X, Instagram, and TikTok. These are my handles. I'm trying to get to 3,000 followers on Twitter. Let's get to 400 on Instagram and TikTok ASAP. Hit me up, Saints fans. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.